Hey guys, sorry for my hair. But as you'll see in a minute, there's a reason for my messy hair. Say hello to Thomas. He's hanging out today. Finally got him awake. Usually asleep at this time. So as you can tell, there's a baby now. Sorry it's taken me so long to make this video. We had family staying with us and I didn't want to look like a creep talking to myself into the laptop. And then it was kind of a more traumatic birth than I wanted, so I had to have time to deal with that on my own. Understand how bad it was for me. I gotta tell you a little bit about the pregnancy first. So, I didn't have the best time growing up. I have a history of abuse and PTSD from that, which caused a condition called vaginismus. So we didn't think we could get pregnant, and I had just started physical therapy. Also, if you don't know what that is, feel free to look it up. I'm going to try not to make this a half-hour video, so I won't go into too much detail. But basically, doctor exams were pretty much impossible. Tampons were pretty much impossible. But somehow, this little guy had other plans. So it was kind of a surprise, you know. A good surprise. So, as you can tell, we found out in December, the day after Christmas, so I guess Santa had a funny sense of humor. But anyways, found a doctor, and I was under the impression, not from him, but from like everything I've read, that I was probably going to have a C-section just because during exams and all that, I don't really have control of my body. Like, when I had the pap smear, it was just so awful that my body literally locked up, like my legs, like I was telling myself to move my legs, but my legs would not move. It was that bad. So, you know, I freaked out. I'm like, how am I gonna, you know, get this little guy here if I can't even deal with this exam? So my anxiety was through the roof the entire pregnancy on that. Somehow my doctor talked me into giving it a try, you know, vaginally, so that's what I went through. And he said, you know, with first pregnancies, they take a while, and so there probably would be no problem, you know, getting the epidural and then taking it from there. I didn't really know I was in labor. That day, you know, I woke up like a normal day, feeling like crap, but that was, you know, my normal lunch. And then we decided to go to the park because my mother-in-law is visiting from New Zealand, and we were going to take photos, and then had to go to the pharmacy after that. So I was walking around on these hiking trails, you know, and I did my hair and makeup that day, which I never really did in pregnancy. Because, you know, you just feel like, bleh. So why bother? For the photos we did, you know, I put on a dress, and, you know, I touched my belly, and I'm like, why is it hard? Like, it didn't hurt or anything. I'm just like, why is it hard everywhere? And it would come and go. I'm like, oh, it must just be some weird Braxton Hicks. Because I was told that Braxton Hicks is when your tummy tightens up and then like you don't feel pain. That's one way to have a Braxton Hicks, is just, you know, the tightening and then releasing of the tummy. So I'm like, oh, it's just a Braxton Hicks. This is weird, you know. Like, I wouldn't have even noticed it was there if I didn't touch my belly for the photos, you know. And I was walking really slow because I just felt pain. It wasn't really pressure. Like, it wasn't pressure that you feel like when he drops or anything. It was just like the usual pain, but just I felt as slow as a turtle, you know? And but that was okay. And then I wanted to go down to the river, and then my husband makes a joke of, well, if it happens down there, it's gonna be a long time to walk back. And I was mad about that because I wanted to go put my feet in the water. It was hot out. But now thinking it, I'm like, oh man, that's a joke, you know. So after that, I'm like, oh yeah, I need to go get my heartburn pills from the pharmacy. And so we went and did that, only they weren't ready, so then I ended up getting grumpy at somebody and having to wait. Back, I had to go to the doctor's that day. And I had thought about getting the cervical check that day, but then chickened out at the last moment. And now I'm thinking, you know, if I did, it probably would have been, you know, get to labor and delivery. But, you know, it is what it is, so nothing seemed out of the normal. It was just, and we even talked about inducing if, you know, I went over term, because I, you know, like my grandma and everybody went over term, and, you know, here I am. So I just thought, you know, oh, that's going to happen for me too, because I didn't really feel like I had any symptoms that I would be going into labor soon, you know. And then we had dinner. Ooh. We had dinner, and I noticed it felt like I had to go to the bathroom. I'm like, oh, the laxatives must be kicking in, right? Because I had been pretty constipated for the past couple of days, so I took, you know, the laxatives that were considered safe, and nothing happened. So that was kind of disappointing and weird, because usually they say that it's the opposite effect when you're about to go into labor. So I'm just like, oh man, this is never gonna happen, you know, because you know, I'm too constipated. But so I thought, I just had to go to the bathroom. You know, I excused myself, went to the bathroom. I'm like, oh, I feel better. And I noticed that there was blood when I wiped. And I'm like, you know, because 9 months no blood, and then there it is. And then I'm like realizing, oh, that's the bloody show. And so I got all excited. I shouted it out to like my mother-in-law, like, hey you guys, because they were upstairs. I'm like, I think I just lost my bloody show. And you know, the books I read said, oh, in a couple days you'll go into labor after that, right? So I'm like, oh, I should probably start packing a hospital bag, you know, not really realizing what's happening yet. Thinking I had time, right? So I started having the contractions, and they weren't what I thought labor was supposed to feel like. It just felt like I had to go to the bathroom. Like, it was really weird. And so I didn't think I was in labor. But I decided to get in the bathtub anyway. And the first time I timed the contractions, I used the babysitter app for timing contractions. And the first one, when I looked at what it said, I'm like, this can't be right. These are the like the false labors. It has to be, right? Because it said that it lasted 45 seconds for 3 minutes, and my husband finally got me out of the tub at 9 and said, we're going to the hospital. You know, basically, I don't care what you say. We're going to the hospital. So I'm just like, whatever. And by the time we got to the hospital, I was just feeling like, I don't want to do this anymore. I should have got the C-section. Like, it was pretty bad. They did a cervical check. It was pretty much how I thought it was going to be. You know, it was pretty painful, but it was even more painful because every time they would do one, it would bring on a contraction. And usually with contractions, you have time between, so you're just like, you know, trying to prepare yourself for the next one. But it was like, wait for the contraction to end, then they check you, and then, oh man, here comes another one. And so it was just horrible. And this time, it was lasting for over a minute. They didn't tell me what it was, but my doctor was on the way, apparently, and they kept saying something about, oh, he better get here, or I'm gonna have to deliver this baby. And I'm just thinking, what? Does that mean I'm in labor? Like, at this point, I didn't know. All I knew was I was in pain. My husband and everyone was asking for the epidural because, that's how we were finding it. But the anesthesiologist he didn't have a good bedside manner. Like, he didn't want to give it to me. Even when my doctor got there and the triage doctor there was, everyone was trying to get me an epidural because apparently I was fully dilated when I got there. So that was fun. I guess, then it kind of hit me like, okay, this is happening. Like, I remember like crying to my doctor, like, I wasn't ready for this to happen today. Because even he was like, we just saw you, what's going on? So they tried for the epidural for about at least 45 minutes. And when I say they tried, they kept trying to poke me. I had a bunch of needle marks in my back, but in the end, they couldn't get the catheter in for whatever reason. I don't know. And I remember the doctor said, okay, we're gonna pop your water and we're gonna have to push here. And that's when I lost it, because I did not prepare myself at all for a natural birth. Like, I didn't take a class. I didn't know how to breathe. I didn't know what was going to happen. And for me, with my anxiety, I have to have that sense of control, I guess. Or maybe it's just because those things are just so traumatic for me. I don't know. And then I remember all these nurses, like, taking my legs, and I'm grabbing at people like, no, not yet, not yet. Like, this is not what I wanted. I remember saying it to somebody. All of a sudden, there's like 10 million nurses coming out of nowhere. And all I could remember was this horrible... Like, I did not want my waters to be broken, because I remember watching this horrible video where it looked like they shoved a freaking huge ruler up somebody and, like, jammed it. Like, so that's what I envisioned was going to happen. I'm like, no, I don't want it. Like... But it wasn't that bad. Like, I don't even remember what it felt like. I was glad that part was over. And then all of a sudden, the pain hits me. Like, I remember just laying there in pain, and then I hear someone say, alright, push this little boy's hand out. I'm like thinking, hand? That's not right. It's supposed to be a head first. Like, so apparently, he came out Superman style with both arms like this. So instead of just having the head and the shoulders, I had to push out the elbows that were like going like this inside of me. That was pretty painful. Not gonna lie. I think they call it a nuchal hand, but he had two of them. And so I was trying to push, but I don't know, they like put me in this weird position on my back. So I felt like when I'm not pregnant, on my back, like, and when I'm just in my bed, right, I have to have help to get up. So I don't know how they thought I could yank my legs up and sit up on my own like that while pushing. I don't know. I was trying to tell them, and I'm like, can I get another position? No. And then all these nurses, like, some of them I just wanted to be like, shut up, because they were just like, you're not pushing if you're talking. They were just all negative, like, and I just wanted to, like, be like, get out. You're ruining my mood. But I knew what I had to do. Like, I know some people freak out and totally lose it, but I knew that I just had to take it one contraction at a time, and I kept repeating that to myself while I was in that pain. And remember that it's not forever, you know. And the only way to get rid of the pain is to get them out of there, you know. And so I just kind of tuned out these nurses. I think one of them even grabbed my head at one point and was trying to say something, and I don't know. I don't remember that part, but my husband said he was coming after her for that. But, so I just kind of tuned everybody out and just tried to focus on pushing him out. But they didn't have to do a vacuum. After about 3 pushes and the vacuum, he was out. And I didn't realize, I guess, I felt like I was about to pass out. Like everything was just fuzzy. And then I'll suddenly realize, oh, the pain's not there anymore. And next thing you know, there's some baby getting put on me. I'm like, what is going on? Like I don't know, it's the weirdest thing. Like it took me a minute like to realize what was going on, which was weird for me. Like that's not what happened in the videos I watched, you know. And then I did tear, and they had to stitch me up. But after that, I didn't care what they did to me. Like it was, you know, it was over. It wasn't as bad as that, you know. So yeah, I had a natural birth, whether I wanted one or not, which I didn't. And then afterwards, I started to shake, you know, pretty violently. I guess it was normal. So I'm just like sitting there shaking while they're trying to stitch me up. I'm like, sorry. Now I'm realizing, you know, I'm glad that it was fast like that, because it just shows you, you know, what you can do. Like, I didn't think I could ever do a natural birth because of the whole PTSD and everything, and you know, my son had other plans. And after that, I just felt this huge boost of confidence. You know, I faced my biggest fear pretty much. Didn't go according to plan, but I feel like it made me a stronger person, and I just have this new sense of confidence now. Like I'm not afraid. And for me, that was like a huge thing. They did term him small for gestational age, because he was, well, actually, when they first weighed him, they said he was 4 pounds 4 ounces, and then they were gonna have to take him to the NICU, so I didn't get to see him much. And then they got him to the NICU and put him in, I guess, one of those bassinets where you can't touch him, and reweighed him, and he was 5 pounds 8 ounces. So I don't know what was going on with that scale. So that I'm still kind of like trying to process everything, and like sometimes I wake up and I'm like, wow, that really happened, or wow, I really did that. And you know, when you take fear out of the picture, it's, you know, pretty amazing what you can do. But yeah, that's pretty much my story. I'm gonna go get some stuff done while he's taking his nap, and hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.